Well, everyone, it's August 13th, 2025, regular commission meeting with Port of Morrow. We'll start with introductions. All of the court commissioners are here, so we'll start going around the room and then we'll go online, please. Randy, you want to start?
Thank you, Robert, for Morrow.
Well, David the Better Bank. Gordon McKenzie, Better Bank. Ricardo Rosales, Better Bank. Democrat, Portugal. Brandon Hannon, City of Oregon.
Eric Morton, for Morrow.
Wait, you live across all Sand Gravel.
Rebecca Clays, Ross Solid, Sam Brown. Anna Brown, for tomorrow. Karen Becker, City of Oregon.
Mark Guy, for tomorrow. Jeff Davenport, Morrow.
Lisa Middlestroke, for tomorrow. Ivan Hendricks, for tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone.
And online, we'll start with Sam.
Sam Tucker, Port Morrow attorney.
Don Dory.
John Doherty, City of Edgar.
Now. I'm assuming they don't want to. Marcine.
Marcine Brigham, Portomoro Warehousing.
Jessica.
Jessica Esparza, Portal Morrow Warehousing.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, everyone. We'll move on to public comment period. Do we have anyone signed up?
No.
Consent agenda. Does everyone have a chance to look at the consent agenda? And so, did you want to make a motion? Yeah, you have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion, very second by Joel, to approve the agenda. Consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
We need this. Is unanimous good enough, or do we need to each?
No, that's good.
We'll go into legislative updates. We have Ryan Kirby.
See either one of them, and I didn't hear from either one of them. Kirby was having a baby. Is what? Well, that'd be fun.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move right into the old business then. The CPA update, please. Greg isn't on. I hear you not giving an update. Joel, do you have anything you'd like to inform us of?
Well, I guess we haven't had a meeting, but the roads proceeding, they've gone to bids, is that right? And support. So that's big positive news that that construction's gonna get going.
Good.
I think they had 9 respondents and they've asked Jacob to sit on the committee to review those.
Do you have anything to add, Lisa?
I do not.
Do we know in the next meeting?
I guess Kim had a stroke, so, I don't know if that's, but he's doing recovery.
That's good. Are there any questions from the commission? Okay, thank you. Would you update, please?
We don't have a whole lot to update on that. David Albright, our financial advisor, is reaching out to Doug Scott, the new underwriter for Whippy, we're trying to get a meeting set up.
Doug?
Next couple of weeks.
Anything staff makes this process really long, yes, it's not our staff.
Yeah, we're hoping to renegotiate some terms.
All right. CWSRF update.
We received the loan agreement from them. I believe it was Monday afternoon. We're in the process of reviewing. So David Albright, we had a meeting this morning about it. Had a bunch of comments we're going to send back to.
There's some terms in the agreement that we'd like them to remove and
But overall, it's basically a 2.56% interest rate, which is amazing. And 50% up to 2 million. So this first piece, the million something, is forgivable. We just have to finish the project and not delay down any payments.
we're being very careful about this document because it will be the document that will be amended to make it 50 million instead of 2 million. So the 2 million is to do the design work, pay for the design work. And so when we complete that, we'll have $1 million back. The payment schedule is just based on $1 million upon completion of the project. And then they'll amend it to increase for the large construction project.
Thursday, or
State of Oregon, DEQ. It's DEQ Clean Water, revolving loan fund is what it is.
It's the same with the good nine.
right?
Any other questions, Bob? Okay, thanks for the update. Morrow County Clean Water Consortium updates.
We have had no meeting, they postponed it till next week. And OJ had an open house at Riverside. And I talked to Anna Pinera, and she thought that there was about 60 people that came. And I asked her if there was any new faces, because I went and I recognized a lot of the faces that have been active, and she thought maybe they'd signed up for new tests that hadn't been tested, and we sat in a couple of the meetings. There was a few people that Spanish speaking people that were still confused about boiling the water, thinking that they were removing the nitrates, and so that was communicated very well this time. And then they supplied us a veterinarian, which is a staff veterinarian for and he was actually didn't know a lot, but we questioned him, and he was really good. He returned all of our questions through emails and gave us information, which I didn't know OJ had a staff veterinarian, but he reached back out to us with our questions and answered them. So that was the first time we've ever gotten answers back, when he didn't know the question, answers to this question. So that was refreshing for me to be able to ask those questions and get answers.
I did attend it also, and I would say it was set up so that they took 4 classrooms and had different topics in each classroom for a 30-minute stint, I think. And then you could rotate into another class. And there were several booths for people to go visit to get information on their health, on nitrates, on water filters. And so I visited a few of those as well. I thought it went well. And they did the same thing in Hermiston the next night. And I don't know how that one went.
She thought there was about 60 there too. She thought about 60 on each side.
What's the outreach plan for West Glen? That's still in the works, or are we, how will we contact somebody?
Definitely is, and we will have our clean water meeting next Tuesday. It was actually on our calendar here for last night. Yeah, last night. But it was postponed until the 19th. I think the county has already been working on a plan, and they may have already done some outreach that hasn't been effective yet, because there's an address for a homeowner and it might not be a tenant. So we're having those discussions, but
they're having an open house, another open house. Is it the 27th or 29th? Or?
it's season with a month.
Yeah.
The consortium is.
Yeah. Yeah. With the
28th, 29th, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Either there's still not success, it's the outreach.
We'll send you an invite to that meeting, so.
Any questions? Okay. Public policy update, public records request policy.
So you guys have the copy of the updated version. This is actually directly from SDA. So this is their policy. The only thing that I added was the words, on, I said including legal fees, not that it wasn't. So the second page, additional charges. It says that they'll reimburse for actual costs of producing the records, and the only thing I added was including any legal fees incurred. Not that that really didn't say it, but just so that we were clear. But this states, everything that we talked about, that the the ORS, that they can come and watch them, look at them here, that the first 30 minutes are free. The cost of them, that they'll get the estimate up front. So that, if you guys are good with, I can bring it back next month for your approval in a resolution form. And then also, I guess we need to discuss whether we are going to start actually following this. And actually charging after the first 30 minutes. So if the request is gonna take more than 30 minutes, I think is what we talked about before, the first 30 minutes are free. And so after that, if it's gonna take more time than that, it takes a lot of staff time away from that. Or lawyers' fees, we had talked about charging.
I thought the policy addressed all the things that we talked about. And, do we have to wait until next month to vote on it, or?
No, I can bring it in, we usually do it in resolution form.
Okay,
Most policies are in resolution.
okay,
So I can bring it for the consent agenda next, and you can just approve it on the consent agenda if you're good with it.
Are we-
That's all I've seen.
Well, it's not mine, I'm not gonna take it, it's SCAO.
Yeah.
I did, thank you for supplying the list of the public records requests, thank you, that was a request of mine. And I guess I would just like to see if going forward, just for a year, to see how the policy plays out. We don't have a charge in Holland right now, because it's not a charge. And so, but we will going forward after the resolution.
I will add that.
Yeah, thank you. All right,
Can I ask one question, Lisa? And I asked earlier, the procurement on here. I went back and asked for the records for 2 years of who's asked for public records requests, so I could get an idea. But there's always this procurement on here, and I was just wondering if you could explain that. What they're asking for and why they're asking all the time.
It's, they maintain a database. They say it's for other government agencies to use to see pricing and things like that. I don't know of anyone who uses it, but it's a regular request. It's generally about once a quarter. It used to be once a year, but I'm gonna say we've been responding for at least 10 years to them. And they ask for things that are not in the order that our software maintains them. And so I say, well, this is what we have, and they always say, thank you, you know. Just one of those things.
I just thought it was an odd,
Yeah, they're just checking the cost
yeah,
on
okay.
all projects. basically.
thanks for that.
But it's not on a project basis, it's a vendor thing, so anyway,
But it's nothing regulatory or anything like that. It's just,
I haven't stopped.
just information that they provide in a. Okay.
It's just a nonprofit that maintains this on a.
Just wondering.
No, it's a question.
Are there any other questions? All right. Continue on to port planning and marketing grants, strategic business plan and marketing.
Okay, if you remember, I was going to come back and bring you intake form application for your approval. I talked to Ryan DeGroff, there was a change in the law, so strongly suggesting on the strategic planning document that we wait until January 1, because right now, the maximum that we can get is $50,000. After January 1, there is not a maximum. So we'll be able to possibly request a full 120,000 or whatever it might cost to get that document done. So I'm suggesting that we wait on that. We will move forward with a marketing grant application, which will not require board action until we're ready to approve.
Are there any questions?
I mean, unless you want me to move forward on strategic planning now, but get another $70,000, I think it's worth waiting.
My opinion is we kind of have our marching orders on things that we need to work on. Yes, we need a strategic plan, but we've got a full plate of things to work on. For $70,000. Right.
So the money to pay someone to develop a plan or.
Yes, we will go out for request for proposals. We've used the same company the last 3 times we've done it, at least, yeah. You know, I'm sure there'll be one of them that will share a proposal, right? I think it's a good idea to get others.
And their staffing has changed, so even if we do get that, it may be a little different, right?
The director retired. But within that is when we do the economic impact analysis as well.
Good. Any other questions? DEQ compliance updates.
That'd be me. So the character of full period member of this street, guys, did that, and we'll have some past dates on them. The conflict there, and all the dates have been currently met for the 5, with no issues or problems with the I'll try to focus on the ones that are immediately in front of us, which would be the first on 9/1/25, which is submitted a preliminary design report to DEQ for review of the secondary treatment system. It's just simple, just check the box, we send it off, us work together to submit the preliminary report that says this is what the secondary will look like. It'll be between 30 and 60% completion at that point in time. You know, it's just a very good fact in there. The next date that pops up on that, and we're on track by looking for that being submitted on that date or the next date, which is probably a little small up there. 9/14/25 is submit an updated development plan for the conditional approval from sources, which was submitted on 6/16/25. And this was just a new source approval that popped up, and then you have 90 days after you do one of those, basically a minor permit modification to submit an update to your own plan, which is, you know, how's the pump and how's the water gonna come to you, the SDS sheets, basically how everything operates and comes back to our system for those new sources. The inside here, we do our hydrogen budget indexing, which shows that we estimate this much flow equals this much nitrogen, and then what that goes inside of it. This is our crops, this is our land, this is what takes that back out of the budget, so it shows that how everything works inside. That's due on 9/14. Next one out of that is up on this here tonight is about 9/25, which is the production and startup of both from stores of goods. Self-explanatory, the 2 new rooms will have to be online and operating by that point in time. Which I'm sure you've seen all the news releases, we're trying to have that, the first pump down in September, and the second pump supposed to fall in October, so we're all on track. And we're all on street. There's a whole pile of dates up there, you don't have to go through any of the older previous ones on there, or even the far future ones, you see like secondary treatment has a ton of dates between here and 2029, most of them are status updates of like, how's it going, where we're at with it, you know, construction processes. Opportunities to have issues before we step on that side. So everything so far is on track, the listing, the dates, that was mine.
That's great, you know, we've seen consistent deadlines met, so we appreciate that, thank you. Even with the pivot on secondary water treatment, that's impressive. Appreciate that. We'll hear about it here.
Yes.
Yeah. Doesn't want to write on marks.
Yeah, no, there's, you're on. Okay. Any questions for Matt? All right, thank you, Matt. Great. Okay, secondary treatment update. There were a few pages in our packet about that.
Yes, and I'm sure that you've all reviewed it, and we have a 10 questions.
Well, I did actually, so.
Yeah, awesome.
But there's an older one and a newer one, right? Before, one was from June, or.
Yeah, one's from June.
One's from April.
Yeah, yeah, so the June, the more updated one.
More updated one, okay.
That's the one you might be wrong, but that was going to be done in June, and they had to base 8 by September 1st. Aqua is actually going to do a presentation, the secondary treatment in the next commission meeting on the basis of design. So we're going to have a couple, probably an hour for them for that meeting, and they're going to walk you through all the steps of the basis.
So somewhat with this document.
Not at this, but it's way further on.
So like grid removal and all that, it's gonna be decided that, right?
Well, that's really all there is to update. Just wanted to give you guys some information. That will ramp and ramp and But you know, a lot of little bit.
So we have questions about things like emerging contaminant. Like phosphorus.
That would be a really good question for Rockwood.
Okay. If I'm curious how we address that, if it becomes an issue, how we do that. Okay, all right. How does everybody feel about that? For September, do you have questions now? Or
I asked Mitch a bunch of my questions. I was questioning the 40, it said in there that it was mandated that we reduce it to 40, and I didn't remember that in the permit anywhere. And so he said, no, that's not a true fact, but it is in the report. So if we're only mandated to go to 7 if we apply in the winter, but other than that, there isn't any.
We're not mandating.
Yeah, just have to take the secondary treatment, right?
But this will definitely help stabilize the systems. Number.
yeah, going from 100 milligrams per liter to 40 is that an improvement. Have we heard anything about agronomic rates adjustments from the state? Not really.
Any new news, Mitch?
Yeah, no, there's a listening right time. We're going through pilot test studies for corn, water, grass seed. You probably do an adjustment top of those, and we've got your feedback on all of those thus far, but there is no set in stone. There's been great everything going forward. That being stated, we're trying to set up a meeting to see how we can encourage that conversation to go a little bit further. Studies are finding all of they're reinforcing what is already been said. Do whatever it takes to check the box that gets the state to have responsibility for them.
All right, well, we'll be anxious to hear about that.
Can we stop for just 1 second? Sorry. When is our visit with DQ?
Hasn't been set in.
Okay. I thought it was.
Oh, well, we have the pond. They want to come and review the pond on August 26th. But that's all for lubricants and stuff like that. That is not a great one. I'm still making a presentation.
Okay. All right.
Separate.
Okay, all right. I will be gone the 27th through 29th. So. I thought it was asking.
That's the 26th.
Okay.
I got to go to the job line out because it's all about.
So this report, the June one, is really laying out possibilities of the design, right? The work that they're doing behind investigating one technology versus another. Okay, and hopefully it's like they're.
Did they decide on the technology?
It'll be batch reactors. I mean, that's the direction we're going in. So. It's the most technological.
A lot, by a lot of money.
Okay, I mean, there are only any cost in, I'm sure that's not.
I did.
So hopefully we can get that in there and a little bit better. It's this issue with this. See where we're at. There's also options on what we do too. We if we have to haul it off or if we have to buy some program, that's going to affect cost also.
Right. CapEx is what, 71 million?
Yep.
Right now.
That's with the 30% contingency.
Right. Well, they said 44%. More, that's good. But question. So.
I was gonna ask about operational costs, but
Oh, yeah, thank you.
if it's coming in, if the numbers came in to anything what we thought they were gonna come in, or higher or lower.
Well, it's running for $5.5 million.
You mean current costs?
Well,
No,
at the
yeah.
projected cost, because I saw lots of employees and
Yeah, there'll be quite a few additional employees. We're also gonna have additional employees on our freshwater side too, so hopefully some of these employees can mention back and forth. You know, already have 2 employees in the digester that can do some of this work also. So hopefully we'll be playing for
A lot of room for refinement. So, sharing under per reason.
yeah.
I remember my question, so the 71 million is for 4 trains? That right, 4 reactors, 4 reactors, right.
There's also a suggestion of another digester.
Yes. 4 trains or something. Yeah. We need that digester.
Anyone else have other questions? Curious, Mayor. All right, thank you. Next, any other business, old business? And new business, aquifer recharge grants. Please come to the podium.
That's also me.
Oh.
I have nothing further to be, it's just more of a notification on that. I've received or in the process of receiving an offer for recharge grant, which is related to, remember, about a year ago, I was in for the leader in here talking about for recharge happening within our properties with low groundwater with the CIP system. Well, this grants for the first part of that, which is the engineering process of the times, drill holes, pumps and distribution systems and stuff like that. And we made some commissions on that, so we are in charge of the grant, to go do that, overseeing that process, but I mean, everybody else is good over it, so. You can imagine the word missing off of that, but basically we're just a go between and holding the grant. You think that's promise? What's that? You think that's promise?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, you're full water out there, that's a good thing. Excellent, thank you. Yeah,
You're full of
it sounds good.
Yeah, if you're full of high nitrate down at the bottom, recharging at the top, it's definitely.
There's sweet stuff along there. Yeah, but where Boardman sits and it's particularly on that side of the farm, we're talking about the wells, you're sitting in what is basically the entire end of the well. So there's a huge pool of water. You can make that bathtub move. You're gonna start moving that stuff out. Yeah, so it's a different kind of, we're trying to stop adding to it now. If we use it, that would be. Yeah. I mean, it's also fortunate. You're right, yes, I've always reached out with all those multiple sections, so maybe a small portion that makes it a section, so anything's better than nothing. Right. But there's 4 tasks off of that, I mean, both of it's engineering, pumps, distribution systems, and infrastructure, and then of course, any state report needs that kind of thing. So, $597 and $900.
Is that a state or federal?
Or this, you know, so.
Very long.
We at the point that we need them to authorize someone to sign.
That was a question that came up, I don't have an answer for that.
Well, I think it would be helpful if we would just get approval from you to accept the grant and authorize someone to sign it. Preferably president or executive director or the designee.
What some information back before us to approve it, how much is the grant?
The grant was $597, $900.
$597,000.
Is there any more requirements?
Well, the amount is provided, people who buy Madison and.
Madison has.
Everyone's providing that.
And we have a dedication that is already been done.
Yeah.
So our match is already.
Designated by.
Yeah, that was at our first meeting.
$70.
Well, you want to be willing to make a motion to accept the grants? Authorize signing?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve acceptance of the grant. We haven't received it, we're applying for it.
Correct.
To apply for,
No, someone else already applied in our behalf. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Ben.
That's correct.
Yeah, no, somebody else already applied in our behalf. It has been awarded. We don't have the actual grant document yet.
So we do accept the grant.
Yes.
so I think I'm understanding my motion.
Okay,
Like to see it too, I think.
love to see it.
I think we should,
Okay,
approving something we haven't seen.
all right. Okay, that's the.
You want to wait to separate in here?
Yes.
Before you get
Yes.
our actual document? Okay.
All right, thank you, everyone. Marriott Grant A19 agreement execution.
We finally got through the process. So this was a grant we applied for back in 2018, I believe. It's for T1 improvements and also improvements on T3. So dredging, turn itself to T1. I believe the amount of the grant was $1.6 million.
And it was federal fiscal year 19, so.
Yeah. So I'm sure that we've already got approval from on this grant, been working on it a long time. We finally got through the process. And we finally got an executed agreement with Area. The project is, we actually bid this project out last summer because we thought we really had it done. Had the grant out, weren't able to do it. We were able to just refresh those documents. We've got it out to bid. We've got to get this work done this winter. Turn cell in. We're gonna dredge T1. We're gonna do crane controls at T3. And a new packer for. Jeff Wilson did a great job of just staying on Marriott. It was so convoluted that it's just so much back and forth with them. It was just driving me crazy because a lot of things that they kept asking us for, they were supposed to be taken care of. It's just strange. But
Yeah, so who's Marriott? Marriott.
Maritime.
Administration.
Yeah.
They're the ones that designated, the Columbia River as a transportation corridor. And we were one of the sponsoring agencies for that, so. Several others since then have been applying for these funds.
Yeah, and you also oversaw a bit of the road. Anyway, that's underway. Very good.
So the plan would be in this work window this year.
Yes.
Which is December 1 to March 31.
So we can start using that new crane.
Okay, any other questions on Meredith? Thanks, Mark. Audible Well Hefner Industrial Park.
I believe you have a technical memorandum from GSI in the packet. We had them do a study up there. Some of those wells did for flood mitigation. Or done away with. We've identified well one would probably be the best one to move to the north side of the Freeport, north side of the highway. We can actually create a 450 GPM potable well in Hefner. We already have a bore across, we can always bring water back across to on the other side. But since our bids came in fairly good for flood mitigation, we think we can get this done in that scope also, since it's a well that's gotta be removed to flood mitigation. The drill the hole's about 250,000, we believe. But GSI is working on that, getting those documents put together.
So do you think that, when do you think the work would be done on the well?
It would be done up next spring. Probably gonna take Bruce that long to get the documents put together for us.
Yeah, actually, drilling so short, we did 4 months usually, or drill time to the document preparation time, and of course, we have structures and stuff inside there, so the margins probably good.
Great, it's great. That bid came in and we still have our contractor for the flood mitigation.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And they're supposed to start flood mitigation. Yeah.
Oh, the investor, right? Great. Any questions? Thank you. Move on to any other new business we should know about? Staff reports, projects update.
I think let's move to pictures, we kind of already went over the secondary treatment policy. And we have a lot of pictures on those and. And you can. Go through them and then if there's something else that's not up here.
That's the farm creek on there, and they're getting close on that. They did set the barge in there. They actually had to go help them with that, and take our crane over there. Then our crew is currently going from the 41 station, putting the line out on currently right now. Not too far.
We definitely need to give you guys a tour of that. It's like that literally huge. That's far forward.
Or we haven't had any input with that, but we'll be doing final connection and put a new T in the sand dune station to put the line up to the pond there, but it's pretty sure it's up to the pond here.
They're about 9% on the excavation. Right here, so
You said 9?
9,
Okay.
yeah, 9 would be, we would be.
Not gonna be making October, are we?
You see stuff to the south. To the right hand side, that's right at the liner.
Having success with the blowing. What was the card or stuff? Or stuff.
Oh, that's something that we will be doing this fall because we usually don't stay, so. Yeah, we're working with Gordon Farmer on that, so we got a plan. That is those are critical water treatment plants. One's at the airport, that's the top one, close. One in East Beach. Imco's the contractor on that. So. They're on schedule, things are going well there.
What are the ponds for? Are they settling ponds or something? Aren't those ponds?
No,
No, what am I looking at?
that's just part of it, all the pipe, all the underground piping. So they have to dig it all out, but they're piping in.
There, there's some basins.
That's what I,
Some,
There's bios. Yeah.
yeah,
Some of the process, but I like the ones that you see there in the bottom, there's a basement to those buildings, where most of the infrastructure is at.
oh, no, I was talking about the top one.
The top one.
I'm at the airport, there's
It's the same.
big
It's just-
basins.
It's basalt, so
Mhm.
they gotta rip it up, makes a little pond, there's like no.
Oh, it's not a pond.
but there are drying basins there too, so. I don't believe we've started with that.
Not really all of this.
The solar project. That's having great out of her.
Is it, yeah, I think everybody for you.
Are they done?
Oh, yeah.
No, they're not even recorded.
Okay.
It's gonna look totally black. It's 900 acres, so.
Okay. Some of it on this side of the freeway, that picture are, I'm not remembering.
No, it's all on that side.
All on that side.
So
Go by, look pretty big now.
It's big. Those are the new signs out at the airport. We kind of did some summer what we have in here. We should have the letters. And stuff up there.
when our landscape crew will go out and do the final landscape and so on.
That's the new paint job on our 2 million gallon tank shop.
It does look good.
That does, doesn't it?
That's much better.
Somebody did a great job of picking out colors. I'm not gonna give her credit, but.
Our guys did that themselves.
Yeah.
That's more stuff that right now. Okay, so, about 2 weeks ago, we wrapped up our 8th year of Spark Force Camp. And, it was a really special year with 20 students, 17 of which were junior high boys. So that was an interesting dynamic that we have not had at camp before. It was a fun week. We had a bunch of students that it was their second time. And then, about 4 students that it was their third time coming to camp. So things that are like standard on the schedule had to get changed up a little bit this year because we had so many returning students, which is a cool problem to have. We are gonna shake things up and change the schedule and make things look a little bit different next year. This was formerly called Nuts, Bolts, and Thingamajigs Camp that we have been doing. Like I said, this is our 8th year. And it was rebranded at the national level to Spark Force Camp this year, so that's why we changed the name. It wasn't a name change for us, but we do receive grant funding from the Fabricators and Manufacturers Association of America for that. And then we also receive some additional support from some of our industry partners here as well. So it's a really great camp, and it's sort of become a cool tradition that we have, and I'll talk about it a little bit more when I do my report, but it's just some snapshots from this last week before last.
And our staff, some of our maintenance staff helps out, looks like our intern.
Yeah, so we had 2 of our interns, the engineering intern, came and helped, and then Gus on our board staff helps as our shop instructor. We used to pay a shop instructor, and then we were kind of like, why are we paying a shop instructor when we have people here that can do this? And the kids think that Gus is really cool, and we've done some really great projects within the past couple of years. So he doesn't know it, but he's stuck with us for the duration.
This was just part of the highway heavy series, of, pieces that have come into Terminal 3. This was, the largest of the loads. And, it departed, just a couple weeks ago. And I went down and grabbed pictures of it, so it was like over 400 people. And this was headed down 395 through John Day, and here we go. It's, pretty impressive to see it sitting down there in our department. I'm really curious how I did it on those.
And at 395 through John Day with that.
Yeah.
Where's the other steering wheel?
Well, it's on 2 of those trailers and it pivots on both ends. So that's just kind of neat. I bet it's interesting to watch it go, but
Yeah, those are a different level of art record.
yeah.
See what I did send down before. Yeah. And impressive.
And that's all.
Shop update, farm 4 and 5 roads, gravel related, that's something we maintain. Farms, yeah, it's our responsibility to provide raw, take care.
Probably that on the new circles, won't put on the new circle, so, farm roads, food circles.
Oh, shop garden organization expansion.
Well, we got a bunch of stuff out there, we're gonna get auctioned off. We definitely stand at the start level block. And we will realize the stuff.
Good. All your equipment out there, so. Hey.
Come down and ask us stuff.
There's a reason it's parked there.
Okay, any questions for projects? Maintenance update? We've got that, okay, report training.
Lisa told me I only have 10 minutes and you guys know I can talk longer than that, so, I didn't do a PowerPoint because I thought, well, if I do a PowerPoint, then it'll take me longer, so I just give you a 1-page snapshot, and then I added on the, mock-up of our newly rehabbed newsletter that's coming soon. So, for those of you that don't know, I'm Anna Brown, I'm the workforce development manager, and I've been here about 3 years. And so, what you have is just kind of a little bit of a snapshot of what we've done so far in 2025, with a little bit of carryover stuff and several projects that have been an ongoing project for several years, starting with our high school internship program, which is just wrapping up its 5th year. So we pulled some data on that. We have nearly 50 businesses enrolled. We started with 16 businesses in that program, so we're at 50. And we had 7 new businesses this spring that didn't meet the deadline, but we still let them add on because we want to have as broad of a array of businesses to offer our students as possible. We've had 255 interns participate in the program since the inception, and we started tracking monetary data and the hours that they've worked in 2023 when Stephanie and I started. And since then, they worked 24,135 hours and earned $326,044. So that's a huge, I think that's a pretty big economic impact for a 16, 17, 18-year-old student in our county. And that's, again, not counting the dollar amounts from the first 2 years of the program, which was probably fairly significant because the program started in 2020 and 2021. And where those students didn't have full-time school during that time, they actually worked a lot of hours. So the EST is working on pulling those numbers for us a little bit, but we didn't have them readily accessible. For 2025, we have currently have 65 projected interns, which is the highest amount that we've had. We figure with the ESD, we have a capacity of 75, and that's what we budgeted for the year. So putting us at 65 is just about max capacity. And if you've ever managed people, you know that it's a pretty big job. But if we manage high school students who have never had a job and never filled out a time card, and they're working at 30 different businesses across the county, sometimes people say, well, how is that Stephanie's full-time job? No, it's Stephanie's full-time job and then some, because managing 65 students to get to work and to turn in a timesheet and to know how to do all of the things that you teach students and first-time employees to do, it's a really big job. This year we did update our partnership agreements and our student employer handbooks with our partners at the ESP and with the school districts. We've continued some industry meetings and continuing education classes. We've got some great ongoing partnerships with BMCC, and we're gonna read everything that's on here because you can read a lot of it. We've done some business development classes. We recently met with all of our industry HR management team to put together a list of classes that we can work on combining for all of our industries here, probably starting after harvest. Summer is not a great time to offer business development courses just because nobody shows up. So fall and winter will probably be launching some more of those projects. Since moving back to this building, we've seen a dramatic increase in our job seekers, and I don't know if it's just our presence and being here is more accessible, but we have also had a ton more phone calls and emails and reach outs. We're averaging between 2 to 2.5 hours with an initial meeting with job seekers to help them complete their resume, apply for positions, do like kind of an initial intake with them, and then 3 to 5 hours of follow-up with them. So it's a considerable investment in time when somebody comes in looking for a job with us. So we've met individually with more than 40 people since the first of the year. And there's always an uptick in that after the first of the month when all of our open positions are posted. And then we've dramatically increased our partnership with, like I said, our local HR managers and then other temp agencies and with WorkSource Oregon. So there are only so many people looking for a job in Umatilla and Morrow County. There's not very many. And so if we have somebody that we can't fit in a position, then we contact the other groups, and if they have somebody that they can't fit into what they have open, then they call us, and so, it's actually become a pretty good, working partnership to help everybody get the best job they're looking for.
And is there a way, the 40 people that you've seen, are they placed in a job then?
So it's really hard to track them after they leave, and so we have developed an online registration system, which we've been working to roll out very slowly. And then we are also working on a service evaluation, so that after they meet with us, then we can send them an email. But you know how evaluations are, you get less than 30% back when somebody sends them. People usually call me back if they got a job somewhere, or HR from another industry calls. So I would say that we're probably, and like I said, sometimes they just come in and then we never see or hear from them ever again, and I don't know where they go. But I would say about 30%, we're placing about 30%. So, I think that's pretty good, considering some of them come in purely to fulfill their requirement for unemployment, and then we don't see them again, so. I talked a little bit about Spark Force Camp for this year. We've completed year 8. We've had 180 students, countywide participate. 12 of our previous, Spark Force Camp participants have become high school interns, and 3 of those 12 have gone on to become Columbia Works interns. So, as best as we can, track that data. I am tracking that, a little bit, because our first group of Spark Force camp kids are about sophomores in college right now, so they're going into their second year of college. From the Manufacturers Association, we received more than $20,000 in grant funding, and then about an additional $20,000 in support from other entities. It costs roughly $8,000 to put on the camp every year. Not counting transportation, which sometimes we get money for transportation and other times we haven't. And then our Career Connect conference is an annual conference that we've been doing for the past 5 years. We received more than $50,000 in sponsorship support for. We've hosted more than 2,000 high school students from Umatilla and Morrow counties in a massive career job conference that always includes about 40 to 50 businesses, colleges. We hire a motivational speaker every year. For the past 5 years, it's happened in Pendleton at the Pendleton Convention Center. It was virtual in 2020. And this year we will be happy to host it at the Stage Center. We have enough space between the Stage Center and BMCC next door to host all of the students. So it'll be nice to bring that event here to Morrow. And then there's some other professional development contributions. We counted, I have done 13 educational tours since the first of the year. So I think that's a lot every single month. Which is great because it gets a lot of people out here that aren't normally here. They get to see what we're doing and hear what our story is. So the coolest thing about this, in my previous position, with OSU Extension, I worked in college and career readiness. And so I had the opportunity to work pretty closely with Kaylee on some of these projects. So I have been at Spark Force Camp, Nuts and Bolts Camp, since the very first year because we partnered on that. And I was there with the Career Connect conference because we partnered on that from the very first year. And then helped her with some development stuff in the high school internship program. So while I wasn't always an employee, I've been really dedicated to these projects for a long time. So it's been really cool to see the growth of that. Any questions?
How about the current? Is it getting out to people? How does it get out to people?
Yeah, so the current is the new, it used to be called the Fort Report. And Eric and I have brainstormed extensively something that we could call it. So this is going to be the new biannual newsletter. We're hoping that it's ready to send the beginning of September after we get it to print. This is the mock-up. We have a couple more, as you can see, there's space for the industrial symbiosis story is not done. And then it will be completely translated as well, and then it will be a direct mailing to everybody in the county. Such as, just as the previous, report was.
Good.
So,
Getting word out about the first new report.
yeah, we think so too. And we've given it a refresh and an update and, it's different than. Sorry.
Good. Financial, I mean.
Okay. So I mentioned this already to a few of the commissioners, but you'll notice that our unrestricted cash dropped to 10 million at the end of July. And about 5 million of that was the fact that I hadn't requested a transfer of funds, of bond funds for the lagoon construction. So just requested 7.5 million today, about 5 million of that relates to July. So we are. The auditors arrive on Monday. We don't have updated July information for you because we're deep still into June and last year. And making sure that the proper things are capitalized and applying GASB 78 on the leases. And just a lot of weird accounting things that have nothing to do with real life. I hate to say that. But
These are the year-end numbers now, or?
well, they are the year-end numbers. I'm not going to say that you may not see some allocation changes still.
Show up next week, you said?
Pardon? Yes.
Auditors show up next week.
Yes, the auditors will be here Monday. I had last month, if there was a time, the 2 audit committee members wanted to meet with them. Have you given that any thought?
Well, right now, you get, like, what did you say?
Well, Monday or Tuesday, preferably if you have time, next Tuesday. Yeah, committee. And I apologize, I was out of the office all week last week, I should have sent an email.
Like, August 19th,
Pardon?
August 19th.
If that's Tuesday.
Yes, I did that.
No, not a good day?
I'll see.
Okay.
I know, it's okay. Just had, well, question or observation for the enterprise zone money that came to the port.
Yes.
Looks like it got transferred down to the discharge warehouse. I mean, is that where basically those funds went?
Okay, the funds went into the general fund.
Uh-huh.
And yes, we budgeted for a transfer to those other categories. And we funded out that pretty extensively when we're doing the budget. That, those,
That's where we support said that.
Yeah, if you go to page 3. I know it said a bunch of bigger items, but it's all updating on the.
Okay.
So I read it, the bottom of the consumer descriptions.
Uh-huh.
I guess bottom of the conversation, but that's where that. So that's part of the budgeting process, it's, I guess that would have discussed. Age unit 4. You know, for this audit year, or this budget year. That's discussed over a year ago.
I don't like this. Now though, we should be looking at the budget when it's ending. I'd love it to review it, but we don't, we've already moved on. You know what I mean, we won't come back to the real numbers until next May, when we look at the. My own, little bit pet peeve on
There's,
Wouldn't it be just nice to look at the year-end numbers at the, just after the year end? Not necessarily big action, but just.
There's a whole 6 pages in the audit report, and we'll make sure we do that. How about that?
Okay, thank you.
yeah,
Okay,
You don't look at them again until, am I not right, until next meeting?
well,
People start looking for the.
no, you get them every single month.
All right, yeah, I know, but, I mean, those are actual, those are. Every month varies, you know, the budget perfectly, but the annual budget is usually closer than each monthly budget.
Okay. Yes and no. Capital outlay is always going to be way below budget. Because we always budget assuming we're going to get all of the projects done. And some of them we didn't even start yet.
Okay.
So like the Marriott grant that you talked about. That's been in our budget every year since
Okay.
2019. Yeah, 20. And, cause we're gonna do it, we're gonna get it done, and then it doesn't happen. And the reason we do that, and it's just been our philosophy, and maybe you want our philosophy to change, is that we want as much flexibility as we can get to do what we need to do and respond to things that are happening now.
Well, I'm catching up. Still,
Yeah, no, it's no problem.
okay.
Okay,
Any questions, Riley? Anything else you should know?
we are paying our bills.
That's a great thing to know. Thank you. Okay, thanks, Eileen. Usage reports, does everyone have a chance to look at those? Stuff them? In your downward trend on water, fresh water usage. Yeah. What is the percentage of fresh water on the discharge gallons? What is that? Says 20.
Oh, okay, so, we are okay, the amount of discharge water we get back is 78% of the fresh water we provided. So we lose a lot with our, cogeneration plant. And, we lose quite a bit in the data center process. And
So for July of this year, we supplied 203 million gallons and we got 67% of crack because of
yes,
dissipated or lost the other percent.
yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I. Thank you. I just didn't understand.
And the reason we started adding that is, you know, we've been doing a lot of financing lately and they're always trying to track revenue. And we always provided freshwater numbers and we didn't traditionally provide discharge numbers. And they're actually more applicable to our revenue stream.
Gotcha. Thank you. Any other questions, Brian? Thank you. Any thoughts on the usage reports? All right, any other staff reports we need to say? We'll continue on to other reports, Olympic Valley Economic Developments. Seeing, oh, no.
Kim's on there.
Hello, Kim.
Okay, sorry, couldn't get my mute off. So I don't have a ton to report because it's summer, everybody's busy doing other things, but we are probably expecting a completion date on the little houses on Chasen Center in about 10 days, be about a month past when we should have been done, but they've turned out super cute and we'll begin marketing them probably the very 1st of September, if not the last week of August. hopefully get some bites. We have a couple new house projects planned, and we support those with a grant. And we have 2 of those in the works and 1 pending. And our community enhancement grants have closed, but we'll be reopening one later in the fall. And I don't think we have a lot of much else happening, but we have a lot happening, but nothing of considerable interest other than our little house is getting done. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. BCDA.
Your report's in the packet.
Yeah. I vote.
They'll meet next month, right, September.
Yeah, you've been off all summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sewer project in my own. Okay. You struggled with the contractor a little bit, but it's realigned. That's going okay. Good. Probably do that. Yeah.
Any other reports? Anything for the good of the order?
I have. We, governor's luncheon.
It is on.
Your upcoming events. The commissioners are invited, the governor is expected to be there, Friday, September 12th. It's Friday around, I think kind of Friday around. 11 o'clock-ish. So 11 o'clock-ish. As it's all after break, yes, because the flyer does not have the location. Yeah. Yes, if that means to see on the line, but.
When I think I put noon on there, so you'll want to definitely verify time.
Yeah, it's as soon as the parade ends, so it's anywhere between 11 to 11:30-ish. And then social events in before food is ready.
Right, gotcha.
I might be interested in the planning. Say.
I have something for the good authority too. Are we behind schedule on the city county court meetings? Way behind schedule? We skipped one, we missed one, we didn't get it scheduled, and I don't know where we're at, but.
Well, I think Lisa had sent out an email to everybody saying, right, there was confusion and there wasn't really one. I can't remember who the host was, but they didn't send anything.
It wasn't us.
No, it wasn't us.
I just wondering where we were.
So I don't think anything else has been scheduled since then. And I don't think anybody ever replied to that email. No. No. He's like, I honestly don't know. I can't even remember who was posted at that time. It was city.
It wasn't the city.
No, it
It
wasn't.
wasn't us. Wasn't
The city of Boardman.
us.
But you're right. I don't think anything, nobody responded, there wasn't future ones planned. So I guess somebody needs to take the ball and say, okay, here, we're scheduling it. If that's what you want to do.
I think, taking a break during the summer, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think we should get back to it now that school's gonna be going down. Lisa, do you mind resending out your email?
You can do that, absolutely.
Especially if you know who might be on other plans. I need concern. Thank you. Very good.
I don't know.
Lexi? There's one election.
No, yeah, there's one of those.
Let's have it.
I'm not
It
sure.
was supposed to be here.
I think I don't
I
do.
think it's my own here.
I think so too.
Sure, which I-
Yeah, we don't.
You don't eat?
We've got no place to have.
Well, we'll revisit the topic.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else from the good of the order? Okay, at this time, we're gonna move into executive session. So I'll read the statement here real quick, and then we'll take a 5-minute break. Come back. Executive session, the court will hold an executive session meeting for the permissible reasons stated below under ORS 1926660-2. Representatives of the news media and designated staff and other persons shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience will be asked to leave the room. Public virtual Zoom meeting link will be closed during the executive session, as permissible executive session meetings are not subject to House Bill 2560. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision will be made in this executive session. At the end of the executive session, we'll return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room in person and open the public virtual Zoom meeting link again. Reasons for executive session. A, for the purpose of consideration and deliberations with the court's executive director and other staff members who have been designated by the court to negotiate real property transactions, ORS 1926602E. Also B, for the purpose of consultation with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed, ORS 1926602H. So at this time, we will pause our regular meeting and take a 5-minute break and reconvene in executive session. Open session for the commission meeting today. Two things. One thing I neglected to take care of earlier, as an earlier agenda item, CBA updates. And I was talking with Sam earlier today, and Sam, do you want to comment on that we were talking about earlier? Please, on the CBA letter. You're muted.
John, have the commissioners received that letter?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a situation that was delivered to the port probably about 10 o'clock, well, sometime this morning. I had a brief call with them then went into a meeting, and I did not actually look at that letter until about 1 o'clock today and talked with John and Lisa about it. I do not think we have to look at it from a legal perspective and determine what, if anything, the Port of Morrow as a port, if anything, should take. This is a convoluted, complicated situation, and we just want to make awful sure that what we do is proper if we do anything. And so my recommendation would be to take no official action of any kind at this time. Let us look at it. And then if we need to recommend some action, we could take some action. I don't even by suggesting that, I don't mean to suggest that we should be taking action, but if we should respond in some way, let us look at it first before we do something like today on it. I don't think we're ready to do that.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah. Yeah, we're looking for certain.
I think I'd like to respond to that a little bit, and I think it's something that the court is neglecting to do, and it is causing more angst than anything else. And that is our responsibility to the CDA board to follow their directives. The vote was taken at the CDA board. I've asked Eileen, I've asked several people, and I've said, why hasn't the money been repaid? Why hasn't that been taken care of? We have the minutes. We know it was said. Lisa was there, I was there. The vote was taken and it hasn't been done. It's public money. That's our public oversight. Needs to be addressed and needs to be taken care of. The CDA board is not taking care of it. We're the fiscal agent. The CDA board gave us a directive to do it. For those people to pay back that money, the retro pay and the other pay, and it hasn't taken place. And that's causing a problem because we haven't addressed it. Is there something in the minutes that we don't understand?
How do you propose to force them to pay that money back? We're not a court, can't make a legal.
So you don't think
Paying
court action is-
makes sense, but just to require someone to pay something.
So who has that ability to do it? You're the CDA board member. The CDA
I
board
don't-
sets the compensation
I don't
according
think
to
the
the
CDA has
IGA.
authority to do that.
The
for an employee.
CDA sets, has in the IJA, it states very clearly that the CDA board sets the wages, the compensation package. We know that the board did not do that. They've asked us to have that taken care of.
Right.
We're the fiscal agents.
Probably not my place, but point of verification, they did not tell us to return. We have gotten no direction.
We have the minutes, we have the motion.
It doesn't matter, Kelly, it's not our board. I mean,
It's what?
the CDA has done nothing, has given us nothing.
So the minutes don't,
The only direction we got was to reduce the salary back to the original.
and we haven't done that.
Yes, we did.
Only on.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
returned it to the original pay.
On all three?
That's not.
No,
what
we
we're
were direct, it was just on
Great.
Greg. And
Well,
one
that's not
person
what
had
the
already left.
The motion doesn't say that. The motion specifically says all three.
Well,
It does.
that
I'm-
was
I'm
not a
just- I'm
direction
just saying.
from the board chair of CBA.
So if you need something from the CDA board chair, is that what you're telling me? What would we need?
Well, I guess since Joel's the board's appointment to that board, you can bring it up at the next CDA meeting. If you want to ask for more clarification and ask that board how they would expect us to get wages back from an employee that have already been paid.
I'd like some legal opinion on that, on forcing someone, what authority we have to force somebody to pay us back, I don't.
We don't know. We don't know how to do that.
Well, neither do I, but it's very frustrating because it's something that we took action on. And we know what the action was. And one person has returned some of the money, but not all of the money. And, you know, I was a board member.
No one has
No one
returned
has
money.
returned any money. We reduced this.
We're reduced this wage, I'm sorry, reduced this compensation. We voluntarily did that. But that's not what the directive was, and I know we're in a hard spot, but we are also fiscally responsible for those directives. We have people on the board. We're the fiscal agent. We were told to do something and we haven't done it.
It would seem to me that the CDA board is responsible for seeing if that board action, the vote happens. It seems to me. So I guess I would ask it to be something that Joel takes to the CDA board and asks them before, and ask them what, I mean, we made a motion, where's it going then? They made a motion, they passed it. It's not being followed. What do they want to do about it? Yeah.
I guess so, yeah.
And certainly feel free to talk with Sam or something before that time, should you want to.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with, boards controlling employees. It's very poor management, very poor process. It leads to bad, workplace atmosphere.
Yeah, it is, and that's why that's why, you know, it's been 11 months and we still have nothing in place.
You got me quite wrong, you know, I'm against the boards doing that,
Yes, I am too. I'm totally against the board. I'm saying that the boards needed to have
not an employee, not
things in
specifically,
place that we don't.
not
We don't.
specifically attack an employee, that's, I don't like that at all.
Well, no one specifically attacking an employee. We're asking for what was,
They're being targeted.
that's because they haven't repaid what they were supposed to repay.
Well,
No one's asked them to repay that, Kelly.
Mr. Chairman,
So they haven't read the minutes.
yes, Sam.
Mr. Chairman, let me clarify what I see. The letter that you received today made accusations against a person, an individual, a United States citizen, for speaking out. Were those statements made as a port commissioner with the authority of the Port Commission, or were they individual statements? And my position at this time, based upon the limited information, is I don't know I think there's a reasonable argument that those statements were made. They're really alleging defamation, libel, slander, those kind of things. And it doesn't look like to me that that was something that the Port of Morrow or a person in their personal capacity did. Now, what you're talking about today, right now, is a separate issue. That has to do with how those funds were handled and whether it should be handled appropriately. And I believe that is the thing that could be talked about in executive session because we have some potential liability in connection with that. So I am saying, can we defer the arguments about or what we should do in connection with what any commissioner says, which arguably is in their individual capacity, versus this CDA issue and payments, valid issue, but it should be discussed in executive session because there is potential litigation about whether we properly paid or didn't pay Greg Smith and those people. So I distinguish the two. You can do what you want, but the discussion you just had doesn't seem to be addressing the input or the impetus of the CDA letter.
You're right, they are separate issues.
So the CDA doesn't meet until September.
Okay.
So we will have another meeting before then.
Sounds like that we will be able to address both these issues in the future before the CDA. Awesome. So I would say over to that. If one needs to be an executive session, then we'll have an executive session to discuss it. That means approval. All right, moving on. The Farm 6 and take action
Yes.
should the commission so choose. In other words, I'm looking for a motion. For the power.
Did you anticipate any changes to that document? That negotiating, is that the final document?
It's, well,
It's not,
it hasn't been back to them again. Right,
it's been sent to them.
this is their
We've got
deadline.
no comments back from them from this. We don't expect any changes.
This is their red line. This is David Palm's red line, isn't it?
No, this is our red lines back to the bond said last Thursday.
Oh, you're right, you're right.
So we got,
We were pretty well in agreement in the meeting, just we got a meeting Thursday morning.
Mhm.
Kurt made the red lines, sent them back. We should be in 100% agreement on this document right here. Not saying that something's not gonna come back correct, but that doesn't mean we're going to agree to it either.
But that would be the problem. Or not, I don't believe I can vote on a document that's not finalized.
What if there's no changes at all?
You have been giving me the authority to do that, to finish the negotiations. The last time we talked about this, you just wanted us to bring back the document and
So there would be no need for us to vote on that if we give you that authority to negotiate.
you did not on the other, did we do 5 agreements that day that you
Yeah.
approved?
He's still saying negotiate.
He's saying negotiate, Lisa, not
Well,
sign.
that's the problem.
We're still in negotiation.
I don't, you're saying this is not for sure final law. That's where we're in.
Sam, what do you think? Oh, it was Kirk,
It was-
wrong attorney, sorry.
If this is the final document.
I don't know. I think I was a part of that meeting, but I don't remember specifically what was said or done. I do know that it is possible for entities to approve or authorize a person to sign, to make final non-material alterations and sign an agreement. But I don't know if we are there yet. I think, and I don't think the commissioners, all of them are comfortable to say, go ahead, Lisa, it's up to you, finalize it. They could. But the question is that what they want to do, or do they want it to come back? Commissioners, that's up to you.
And I guess I have to refer back, and I don't remember, did we say negotiate, finalize the contract? Did we already give you
No, we-
that authority?
You said that on all the other documents except for this one,
This one was
because
to be brought back.
we were not far enough into
We didn't
negotiation
have
on
a
this one.
rough draft.
That's the mask. So I picked it about something. So far, six.
I'm gonna hold out on my vote, I'm a no, unless it's a finalized document. I'm with Rick in agreement that I want to see the finalized one before I make a vote.
Well, I don't necessarily, I'm not saying I need to see the final document. I'm just saying, if you're asking me to vote on a document that's not complete, that's where I struggle. Because if I vote on it, you shouldn't change that document after I cast a vote. That's the only thing I'm saying, if that's what we're requiring.
I think it goes against the work that we did in December. In other words, those other documents, we gave her the ability to negotiate and final. So that's why there's a discrepancy in, I guess. So, but if that's how you feel, certainly. I think that.
Or would you consider a motion to approve this as written, and if there's any minor changes, we'll bring them back to you?
I would think, yeah.
Okay,
Is it time
there won't be any
sensitive?
substantial changes because we've
Yeah.
worked through.
These are stuff,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're already farming.
yeah,
Do you be able to support that record, the document does not change?
Absolutely, but I guess I'm going back to, you said we've already approved it in the past, so why are we doing it today?
Or no, if we did.
No, we
approve this
approved
thing, we could do it before that way.
Well, that's what I'm saying, if we did the other before that, like, why don't we just do the fifth one that way?
Yeah, certainly. It's whatever you.
I know that the reason that you guys didn't do it on this one, we didn't even have a rough draft yet. And look, it's been 7 months, we've been working on this, get it this format. So I can really understand why you guys wanted to see it back and get it forward. But now I mean, it's really, I don't see any changes really happening.
I'll have to make motions, Chair. I would make a motion that we give approval to the contract as presented today. Without any changes going forward. If changes occur, then we would like to see the document again to approve those changes.
And authorize Lisa
Authorize Lisa to sign the document. Should no changes.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this? All those in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
1, 4. Any other business to come before us today? In our adjourned, thank you.